Okay, so are you ready for this? Today we are going deep, really deep,
Yeah.
into how different cultures,
Like all the different cultures,
yeah,
really.
like all the different cultures throughout time, have viewed this idea of the divine.
Like God.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
God, yeah. So we've got a couple of things to help us out here. We've got some excerpts from Spirit Glimmer, which we'll get to.
Okay.
And it's really fascinating excerpt from a book called When Names Speak, A Journey in the World of Divine Concepts Across Cultures.
That sounds dense.
Yeah, well, it is, but it's also like super interesting because it basically looks at all the different names that we have for God or the divine, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so like God, Yahweh, Allah.
Right, exactly. All those, and it asks, like, are they all pointing to the same thing? Are they all trying to get at the same fundamental truth?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And one thing the book points out is that these names often come from completely different cultures, right? They have different histories and contexts. But when you look closer, there's some really striking similarities.
Like what?
Well, take Yahweh, for example,
Okay.
often associated with power, creation, right?
Yeah.
But then you have I am, which kind of speaks to this self-sufficient source of existence.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Like they're both getting at this idea of a primal force that just IAS.
That's a good point. So it's like, even though the words themselves are different, maybe they're both trying to describe the same, well, indescribable thing.
Exactly. And the book uses this beautiful phrase. It talks about the light that emanates from the supreme ingenuity, which is manifest in its various forms.
Wow, that's poetic.
Yeah, right. And it's like each religion with its own language
Yeah.
is trying to grasp that same light.
That's a cool way to think about it.
Right. So if they're all reaching for the same thing, why does it seem like they're always butting heads?
Right. Good point.
And the book actually talks about this, the potential for misinterpretations.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Like take the Ten Commandments. They were meant to guide us towards the connection with the divine, right?
Yeah.
But history shows they've been used to justify all sorts of, well, let's say, not so divine actions.
Like what?
Well, think about it. If the essence of the divine is compassion,
Mm-hmm.
but we twist those teachings to judge and exclude others, aren't we completely missing the mark?
Yeah, for sure. It's like taking something meant to bring people together and using it to divide them.
Exactly. And this is where I think Spirit Glimmer comes in because it almost feels like an antidote to these kinds of misinterpretations.
Oh, how so?
Well, Spirit Glimmer points to a way of connecting with the divine that goes beyond words, beyond interpretations.
Okay, I'm listening.
Have you ever felt this like spark of something bigger within yourself? A sense of awe or wonder that words just can't capture,
Oh, yeah, totally.
right? Like standing under a night sky full of stars
Yeah.
or witnessing a random act of kindness.
Yes, those moments that just leave you speechless but deeply moved.
Exactly. Spirit Glimmer suggests that maybe this feeling, this direct experience, is a more reliable path to understanding the divine than relying solely on dogma or interpretation.
Interesting. So you're saying that spirit glimmer might be a more direct line to that light that the book was talking about.
Exactly. And, that ties back to the book's idea about all these different expressions of the divine actually being facets of a single unified source.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Like, there's no real separation, just a multitude of ways that this divine source shows up in the world,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's through art, music, acts of kindness, or even scientific discoveries. They all offer a glimpse into that unified source.
Wow, that's a big thought.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if there's a piece of that divine source in each of us. Does that mean we're all walking around with a little bit of spirit glimmer inside?
Mm-hmm.
Do we all have the potential to tap into that connection?
That's a powerful question, and I think it's one that each of us has to answer for ourselves. If all these expressions are truly connected, how does that change how you view yourself and the world around you? What would it mean for you to experience that spirit glimmer firsthand?